Hello, everybody. We are live, and it is a fabulous day in the neighborhood. But the topic is heavy. So I apologize if my spring happiness with my spring colors on, and I even got my nails in like a yellow. Y'all can't see the tips, but like this is my ode to spring. So I'm so sorry that my like happiness is gonna like kind of reflect the heaviness of the topic today. And the topic today is healing trauma inside the marriage. Um, but when I was looking at different topics, I was thinking, A, we haven't talked about that before that I can remember. We may have, but and B, there's so many situations where okay, so people don't know this. Y'all know this, but y'all don't know this. It's like one of those things. It's like common knowledge, but not. Is that at the beginning of a romantic relationship, the love pheromones and everything gives you an incredibly high. And so I have seen like literally people in the dating relationship not feel depressed anymore. Not have any problems, like any worries, like the world is brighter. You put on the rose colored glasses and everything. And so some traumas that may be perplexing to you before in the dating relationship, they kind of go away and they're not existent anymore. And then they can pop back up in the long-term committed relationship, which is after 2 year mark. And so people will be in our office like, what happened? Like when we were dating, we were having sex every day and now my partner won't let me touch them or they're not touching me anymore. And so that's part of the thing that can happen is that dating relationship is so euphoric that trauma goes away for a little while. Oh, well, I won't say goes away. That's not the right word.
Goes to sleep.
Yes. Okay. Yes. It can go dormant for a while and not be a problem for a person or a problem for the relationship and then just pop back up in the marital relationship. And that could be the euphoria is gone. Um, People like to say like the mask come off, but also your rose colored glasses come off. So it's not just that your partner was wearing a mask the whole time and the mask is now just falling off and they've been lying. Also, you have been wearing rose colored glasses. And so you haven't truly been hearing or truly been like looking and watching and seeing the person for who they truly are. Because you're like, yeah, but they're so awesome and they're so great. And, nothing they do is wrong. And so when I've done premarital counseling, sometimes working with couples is hard in premarital counseling because they're like, oh, we're perfect together. And I was like, okay, but if y'all get in an argument, let's talk about how you're going to have arguments. Never argue. We agree on everything. As sure as I'm alive, you're going to argue about something one day. Let's talk about just if that happens. And you're just working against that, we're perfect because we found each other and we're in love. And so that's all I have to say right now. Because I said so much. All right, so I'm gonna let you ladies jump in and go from there. And I sent out some notes, but feel free to freestyle. That was just, to help us along. So go ahead, have fun. Who wants to go first and jump in?
You go, Jessica.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think one of the things that I think is really important is the statistic around how often sexual assault or coercion or trauma is present, and that statistically 1 in 3 women have been a victim of assault, and those are the reported statistics. This is very, very underreported. So assume your person has been assaulted, has had some type of religious trauma, has had some type of sexual coercion, has had some type of physical assault or sexual assault, had a childhood sexual, something has happened. Assume that it's normal, assume that your partner has it, and start there. That's going to be a whole lot easier. And then the other thing that I wanted to bring up is for AFAB, assigned female at birth people, well, actually, I could say that for anyone. So I'm going to erase that. People in general, after a sexual assault, there are two common reactions. Hyposexual, in that you shut everything down and don't want anything to do with anything. Hypersexual. So hyper shows up a lot in the dating realm of like, oh, well, yeah, this happened, but then we had lots of sex. Once that safety of that solid relationship shows up, that is when things change, because they're no longer operating in a place of almost fawning, like of, I want you to like me. I want to be accepted. I want to be loved. And so that fawning calms down and they're no longer feeling under threat, which allows the natural inclination to kind of come up, which results in we need to heal some of that at that point.
Sometimes, I don't want to leave men out of the conversation.
Yep.
And because I think those cases, because we don't hear about sexual assault in men a lot, it's not something that's talked about. We know it happens, and yet it just doesn't get talked about in adulthood. It is a little bit easier. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it is a little bit easier for women to admit to sexual assault than men, because the whole masculinity thing. And so when that happens in the marital relationship, and sex isn't happening, or it is such a I want to say hard thing, but that's like complicated. It can be very complex for the couple to work through and admit to. And so a lot of guys, when this has happened, they don't have the vocabulary to say the words that need to be said. The impact is like it's there, and it is just like a harder dynamic to work through. And so, but I don't want you guys left out, and I want wives to know, partners to know that like this is something that can be worked through, and you have to be patient. Like there's a lot of learning that has to happen before the conversation can even happen.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things I like to say is, because what people will be like, this has never happened in any of my other relationships. None of your other relationships were marital relationships. And I think what happens in the marital relationship, and I'm using that term very, very broadly. It's just a real easy term to like describe people who've been in relationship over 2 years. So I'm using it very, very broadly here. Is that your lover becomes your family.
Yeah.
And so when a lover now becomes a family member, sometimes they can take on all of the complexities that you have with family. And so that's a dynamic to think about. So, all right. Amanda, what did you want to jump in and say?
I want to talk about kind of piggybacking off of what you were saying, Natalie. In committed relationships, sometimes things can surface that weren't present in the first couple of years. I've worked with a few people lately that disclosed, molestation or brief sexual assault that have been like the dismissal in our culture of, well, you were only 6 and it was one time. I've actually heard that twice in the last 10 days from different folks. I think we have to do a better job with our kids, with our young people, with our partners of not dismissing trauma. And what is traumatic for one person may not be traumatic for another.
Excellent point.
And I think we really have to give this is a skill you have to learn. So come see us if you and your partner are struggling with this. But being able to accept what people are telling you without judgment, like
Yeah.
this happened to me and it hurt me. Even if you don't understand right away with your partner, open your ears and your heart to it. They've probably already been dismissed 100 times. And
Oh,
their disclosure to you is the most vulnerable thing that they can do. So, Jessica, you mentioned many people don't report sexual trauma or sexual assault or
right.
abuse of any kind. Know that if your partner, if you suspect or they've disclosed this trauma, you may be the only person they've ever told to. So, I just want to hold like the sanctity, the sacredness of long-term relationships, marital, committed, however you want to refer to these partnerships. There's such a sacredness to that bond, and I want more couples to respect that sanctity, like within their partners, see them and believe them. Believe.
Yeah. All right. I want to take a minute and like say some really specific things. All right. How these symptoms may be coming up in the relationship. Your partner could be avoiding sex. They could have panic or anxiety around intimacy that you may not see. You just may see the avoidance. Pain during sex, disassociation during sex, feeling emotionally disconnected,
Yeah.
feeling difficulty like trusting you like during the physical act, like you reach them and they're like, you're gonna hurt me. Feeling obligated to have sex, but they're not there, they're not in it. And then just completely shutting down. And I think in extreme cases, like a partner running to the bathroom and crying and shutting down. And then usually partners, how they feel, the untraumatized person, which everybody has trauma. So in just this situation, they're rejected, they're confused, they feel unwanted, they're frustrated, they're afraid to initiate anymore. They're worried that they're going to cause harm. And so it's a hands-off approach. And so it's very interesting that when these couples, I think, figure it out enough to come into us, they haven't like touched each other at all in a while. And a while could be 2 years, 5 years. It just like we don't know what to do about it, and they're not talking about it at all anymore. And so if there's anything, and this is the whole reason, y'all, we used to do premarital counseling is because most premarital counseling didn't talk about sex. It was not on the agenda. Still, if you go to the Georgia State site today, of the 6 topics that must be covered in premarital counseling, sex is not one of them. And so that's another thing. It's not.
I didn't know that. Gosh, that's my ignorance. That's surprising. It's heartbreaking, actually.
It is, right? And so when we know sexual issues is one of the top 5 reasons for divorce, Amanda, you're closer to your schooling than all of us.
Yeah, it's up there. I'd say like top 4, but definitely.
Okay, definitely in the top 5. So it's been a while since I've been in school, y'all. So I don't remember the exact statistics, but it is. And yet it doesn't get covered. So one of the things I would love for couples to do, if anybody within the sound of my voice, make sure you're talking about these things in the dating relationship. Like what could come up? Acknowledge that in the dating relationship, we're seeing each other with rose-colored glasses here. Yeah. And so I'm probably like, this is something that I've dealt with before and I might deal with it again. Also, a long-term committed relationship is very different than a short-term dating relationship. How you show up is very different. And so don't compare what you're dealing with now in the marital relationship but this never happened to me when I was dating. No, it didn't. It was a very very, very different relationship. Okay, Jessica Renard, jump in.
Oh, I was just talking with a client the other day about the difference between dating and established relationships. And the metaphor that I came up with was like, it's like driving a Ferrari or an SUV. Like, there are certain places you can take a Ferrari, there are a lot, it's fast, it's fun, but
Mhm.
there are a lot of mistakes that could happen very quickly
Yes.
because you're just going at lightning speed.
Yeah.
Once we have maintenance issues, things can get very tricky.
Right.
And then when it graduates to an SUV, that doesn't mean that you can't go fast. That doesn't mean that it's not fun. It means that it's more durable, it's more consistent, it's more reliable, it's
Yes.
easier to maintain. So like there's a transition, and both of them are fun at a certain point, or have pros. But we'll say that
Yes.
have pros, but like they're different beasts.
Completely different. Completely different. Okay. Okay. So I want to talk about the common mistakes that couples make. One is they don't talk about them. Like it is, I think it was Dr. Kevin Lehman who said that 90% of couples don't talk about sex. Like it
I believe
just,
it. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and I think he also said, and Dr. Lehman, I apologize if I'm messing up your statistics here. I think he also said something to the effect of when sex is going good in a relationship, it feels like it's about 10% of the relationship. When sex is going bad in a relationship, it feels like it's 90% of a relationship. And so those wounds tend to hit very deeply, very personally. They kind of erode a self confidence. And so, y'all got to talk about it. If you can't talk about it with each other, come into the office and talk about it. I had one couple, and this is just regular marriage therapy. And I was like, y'all notice that I'm not really saying anything? And they was like, Natalie, we don't know what it is, but we cannot have this conversation at home.
Yeah.
Like, because I was like, I don't know why y'all are here. Like, I'm not contributing to this conversation. Like, I'm not being your therapist. I'm just being a spectator. And they were like, we can't. They was like, I don't know. We're like, we don't know if it's just we need a mediator or we need the safety of a mediator or not being in our house. But like, they were like, we can't have this. We could not have had this conversation at home and made it through. They're like, we don't know if your presence makes us slow down and be more thoughtful about our words. It was like we've talked about it. Like, we don't know, but we've identified that coming to the office and having this conversation works better for us, and we're able to make it through hard conversations.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. Just wanted to be clear that I know that I'm not like doing therapy with you guys. I am watching you guys have a conversation. And it was just so interesting. So I don't know why it works like that, but it does. So if you're a couple out there and you're struggling, like, come in and we can help you make it through the conversation. Okay. Even if we're just able to say, stop, everybody take a deep breath. Okay, let's try that again. Like, just that simpleness. I do think there's something about having a third person that maybe gives you a little bit a deeper sense of safety. All right. So not talking about it is number one. Trying to move through sex too quickly, like kind of just make it happen. And the idea that it'll get better with time. Like if we just keep pushing and making it through, it will get better with time. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And so you gotta address it. Like you gotta address it. And we may not need to go all the way back to like 1967, but there is something about hearing a story, witnessing a story, and healing from a story. So that has to be that. I think those are big things. What else do you guys think couples are making?
I guess I would chime in, and like I've worked with a client where the partner doesn't know how to support. And so I'm like, okay, so basically you are the net. You are the person, like, you are super attuned to them. You are stopping at the slightest hesitation. You are listening to what they need. You are giving them exactly what they need. Do they need water? Do they need a snack? Do we need to take a break? Do we need cuddling? What do we need to be able to heal these wounds? Because we're building up a different response than what has happened in the past. And so we've got to do that by those positive responses. Like, we need 5 positives to every 1 negative, because our brain holds on to the negative. So we've got to build up those positive experiences.
Yeah, definitely so. All right, Amanda, what's coming up for you?
I think that sometimes in partnerships and marriage, we're talking a lot about sexual trauma and sexual abuse. I want to also recognize, like, the difficult spot that partners are in this place, the feelings of rejection, the feelings of being unloved, confusion. That's really hard too. And I think sometimes we can try to push that partner to, all right, but yeah, like, I understand you're rejected, but let's focus on your partner's trauma because we need to heal that. So I want to validate, like, those feelings that folks have when they come in, like, that they're rejected, they're unwanted, I'm not good enough, she doesn't love me, or he doesn't love me. And those are really real feelings too. And they can be traumatic. Like, it can be traumatizing to the relationship. So I want to also just, like, put a plug here that, like, one of the beauties of therapy is that we get to hold many things at once. And it can be that one partner is deeply traumatized or has experienced some deep abuse, and that their partner is hurting too because of how it's showing up. Because if we don't recognize that, I don't think it's fair to ask that partner to be a support person for the traumatized one. We have to, it has to be a mutual, like, support system.
Definitely so. I think this situation is the epitome of hurt people hurt people.
Yes. I almost said that, so I'm glad you did.
I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Like, this is what they're talking about, that hurt people hurt people. Because it's not intentional. It's one person trying to take care of themselves the best way they know how. And in that process, they're usually not able to take care of somebody else. And then that hurts the other person. And so we want you guys to know that you can heal from this. This is something you can heal from. And my hope always for my couples is that whatever brought you into therapy winds up being a gift in dirty wrapping paper, and that you will walk out as hopefully a stronger, more bonded couple. Like, we don't like the what happened. We don't like the way this happened. We don't like the way we got here. But now we can have a new experience in our marital relationship and our long-term committed relationship. We get to know each other on a deeper level. We get to essentially heal together, which I think is very bonding.
So powerful.
So powerful. And then this is the thing. I love saying this. This is one of my favorite things to say is we get to work with people with their most private pain. And so to take a couple into those very private pains that happen, like, in their house at midnight in the dark, in the master bedroom that's usually locked. And bring light into that, and love into that, and care into that, and healing into that, I think is so amazing. So what healing actually is going to require is emotional safety. And so teaching couples how to give their partners emotional safety, open conversations about trauma. And then what I'd love to happen is that both parties are able to be vulnerable and to hold each other and walk and heal together. And then we move the couple toward rebuilding that physical intimacy. And I love it when partners are able to sit through those very hard moments, because your partner may cry, and to be able to stop, to pause, and to pay attention to that real tenderness. I'm sorry, my phone's going off. That's happening. I think it's just amazing. So That was so exciting. I'm sorry, I leave my phone like going off while I'm trying to have this whole serious moment. I bet it's the cousin chat. So anyway, all right. What else is coming up for you guys? What else do we need to tell our people about these things today?
Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to comment, I think sometimes referring to trauma as a gift can be really hard and really stigmatizing because
Yeah,
that
I
is
can see that.
difficult. And so being able to say that the the things that can happen after trauma. So we have post-traumatic growth. And what happens with post-traumatic growth is that you are growing bigger and better than you potentially would have without the trauma. That is not saying that your perpetrator gave you this and allowed
Gotcha.
you to get stronger, because that's bullshit.
Yeah,
It's understanding that you and the pieces of you that are resilient and strong and are able to heal have responded to that wound in a way that has changed your trajectory and has made you a better person and has put you in different spaces to help others. I mean, like, I've had sexual assault in my past, and like that allows me to connect with my clients and figuring out what that looks like and understanding that, like, yeah, it has affected me 10, 15, 20 years after the fact. And
right.
like, what does that look like and how do we talk about that? And being able to use the experiences that I had. Were they good? Would I want them? Absolutely not. Did
Mm-hmm.
they form who I was and allow me to help people that I wouldn't have otherwise?
Mm,
Yes.
yeah. You just brought up something just in the statement 20 years. And so what I want everybody to know is you're never too old. You are
Yes.
never too old to heal. And not only are you never too old, like I'd love for you to get that like finally healed
Mm,
as you continue to walk this earth. You know, I
yeah.
think I had a realization one day that some people don't heal before they die.
Mm-hmm.
And how do
Yes.
they take that with them? It's just like, wow, oh my God, that never got resolved. And so please know there is no age limit on healing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it
I'm
happens
just going to
50 years ago.
piggyback on that, Natalie. I worked in hospice as a counselor. And yes, some people never get healing. Some people do at the end of their life, and it is so powerful. So yes, if you are 50, 60, 70, 85, like there is still an opportunity for you to heal and to have a good life.
Yeah.
We don't have to carry this forever. Sometimes we do, but healing is so powerful.
Mhm.
And I believe in you. Like if you're watching,
Mhm.
like I believe in you, I believe in your healing, and I know you can. You just might
Yeah.
need some help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely so. All right, ladies. Anything else coming up for you guys in the last like 2 minutes?
There's a metaphor that I use with some of my clients of sharing some of those burdens turns rocks into feathers, in that it's
Mm.
still there, but
Me
like
and
it's
Amanda were just like,
easier.
we
Ooh.
love that.
I love it.
And so, like, when you share that, one, it transmutes the thing. And so it feels better, it feels lighter. Some of those feathers fly away in the transmutation process to where there's still something there. It's still something that you're going to be dealing with. It's not as heavy, it's not as hard, it's not as challenging, it's not as burdensome. So, like, figuring out how to share that and who to share that with to where, that's a safe place.
Okay, that's perfect. All right,
Yeah.
ladies. Y'all have a great and wonderful day. Thank you guys for having this conversation with me today. This is a harder conversation, and I hope this helps somebody. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
Okay.
Happy
Y'all have a
Friday,
great day.
everybody.
Oh, happy Friday. All right. Bye bye.